All right, here's a little update for you on the sand shrimp project here. Now, I tell you what, I just came back from the shop. The other 3 days ago, I took a couple, several dozen out of here to take to the shop just to have in there to sell because we're out of them. And I brought back a couple containers full, 2 dozen that we didn't sell. But actually, I went down there. We're closed on Sundays, right? So I went down there thinking, oh, I got to get those shrimp out of the refrigerator. They're going to stink up the place, so I figured they'd be dead. But I brought them back, and out of the 24, there were 2 that were definitely dead, and the rest are wiggling. Now here's some of them right here, and see that one's crawling off, and they don't look too good. They look like they've been, in a refrigerator for 4 days. They've been in there 4 days, on top of being in the refrigerator for 3-4 days before that, and then brought them home here for a week and back to the refrigerator. So I imagine some of them aren't going to make it, but I'm thinking here's a bunch right here. There's a couple. See, just because they're laying over, see, that guy's still alive. He might make it. It's just, who knows, but boy, that just means they are tough critters. But anyway, overall, they are doing great. They're very active. I increased the temperature, and it was like 47 degrees last time I talked to you when I first set it up. I didn't have any kind of heat in there. Since then, I've put in a small heater, which I actually took out now. It got up to 57 degrees today. It was a little warmer today, and I don't want to heat them up too much. I don't want to stress them out. I'm really curious to see exactly how warm they can be. I've had a lot of comments from people and talking to different people that they can't be warm. Well, that might be true, but I want to find out for myself exactly how warm they can be. But I don't want to heat them up too fast, especially since the filter hasn't cycled yet. These have only been in here, 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. And that the nitrogen cycle in the filter takes longer than that. And I've had a lot of comments, and I really appreciate all the comments and the help that I've gotten on this from you guys. That's awesome. And there's some questions about filtration. So what I've got here, and I know I didn't show that before, but I've got a regular pump here. See that? So the water flows through here. Right here, this is the intake, and I've added a sponge there. That's basically just kind of an elaborate sponge to take out the big stuff, and it also adds some biological filtration. But then that water flows into the filter, where it goes through, I think on this filter, 3 different stages. And a lot of that is biological filtration, which is going to convert the ammonia to nitrites, and then the bacteria there transforms that into nitrates, basically, which flows back into the water. And if you let that build up, it'll kill everything, because there are no plants. Nor in the full nitrogen cycle, the plants would take up that nitrate and convert it into oxygen, and that's the cycle. So that would be the ultimate goal, but no plants. So the way to deal with that is just change the water a lot, which I did a water change earlier today. But anyway, the nitrogen cycle is a really big deal, and I think a lot of people are just confused about that. And if you've never heard of it, it's just interesting. It's just something that if you keep fish or fish tanks or any sort of water situation, the nitrogen cycle is everything. So these guys are really incredible. You can see this one feeding right here. What they do is they dig. They naturally in the wild they'll burrow, and while they're burrowing, their tunnels is when they're feeding. So they're kind of simulating that. They can't burrow, obviously. And I did have a big pile of sand here, and they showed no interest in burrowing. And I don't know why. It'd be interesting to set up a deeper, regular tank. Maybe I'll do a 50-gallon or something, and give them a 1.5 feet or so of what they live in naturally, and see what happens. I'm not sure. But in this sand that I put in here, they just seem to have no interest in burrowing. But they do really spend all day traveling around eating. They take their front claws and just eat all the little bit of detritus, what I'm putting in there. Of course, it's the fish food. and some dried seaweed. They like little tiny pieces. So what I've started to do now is to soak the food, whatever I'm giving them, I soak it and break it up real fine, put it down in there, and they eat that a lot better. They'll pass up a big chunk, they just can't chew on it. They want real small little pieces. And also on their front legs, the two sets of front legs, not on their claws, they've got little hair-like structures. It's kind of like baleen on a whale almost, but that grabs really fine particles or plankton or whatever. So they have different ways that they can feed. And they are kind of aggressive toward each other too. They're moving around, and I'm you notice how one of them, here I'll show you. You see, here's hey. They have a big claw and a small claw, and some of them are kind of right clawed or left clawed. It's all different. But this is a big one. That's a big claw, and they're pretty aggressive toward each other. But what that claw is used for mainly, that I can see just watching them here, is it's like a shield. When they come at each other, they use that big claw just to shield themselves from the other one. And if the guy that's coming on to them gets inside that big claw, then it's on. They really go after each other. I've seen that a few times. So what I'm gonna do is let this cycle. And maybe another video, if you guys are interested, let me know if you're interested. Give me a thumbs up or a comment or something. If you're interested in this sort of thing, I can do more. But maybe I can run through the nitrogen cycle with you, which is really kind of interesting and something we should really understand, because it is what keeps the world alive, basically, and the fish healthy and everything. And all the lakes and rivers and everything. If you're talking about fish, and you've got healthy fish, they're probably in a situation where the nitrogen cycle is working, and that's all good. And then also, I just got today a brand new refractometer. Now what this will tell me is exactly what the specific gravity of the water is, or how much salt's in it. It uses light to tell you that, so it's kind of interesting. I've never actually used one before, so as soon as I figure out how to use it, I'll get back to you. So up to now, for the quantity of salt, I've just been following the directions on the salt that I bought to put in here. So I didn't go down the ocean and grab salt water, which you could do. But the problem with that is you bring in all the bad stuff that might be in that water too, and could cause a lot of problems. So the instant ocean, whatever, it's it's just a half a cup per gallon of water. Can't go wrong there. So, but I want to make sure that that specific gravity is correct, and figure out what really that should be. I'll kind of experiment with that, because these guys are supposed to be native all the way from southeast Alaska all the way down to Baja. Now, the specific gravity of the ocean water in Baja is a lot different than it is up here. And also, of course, the temperature. So, exactly how much, what kind of temperature can these guys handle? I'm kind of really interested in that, and not only because I can try to keep these guys in a shop that gets warm in the summer, but it's just interesting. What is the possibility for these guys? How well can they adapt, or the ones that live down in Baja, south of LA, south of San Diego, where the water's going to be at the very least in the high 60s, 70s. But if they're living in the flats, of course, the water gets pretty warm. Now, I don't know if they live up inside the Gulf of California on the inside or not, where the water's really salty and warmer. But, obviously they're adaptable. Now, how well these particular ones can adapt to temperatures like that, I don't know, but it's we can find out, But that has to be a real slow, gradual process, and I want to make sure that filter is converting all that ammonia into nitrates before I stress them out with temperature. So, but it's pretty cool. These guys are interesting. So anyway, let me know what you think about all this, and I appreciate all the help and suggestions, and I've talked to some people who were very helpful, and it's been a lot of fun. So have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.